Hey, what's up guys? It's ElasticSpyder here, and today I've got a community replay. This time we have a submission from our good friend xkoushik. He's in his Fiji. I do apologize, as always, if I mispronounced your name. Sorry about that. But he is in division with, I think, two other teammates, it looks like. One of them is pink, the other is yellow. And that is a-okay. Now, he is playing on, what is this map? Is this Shards? I believe this is Shards. Yes, it is Shards. And usually, I really don't like to go into A, personally. Just because it is very narrow for this spawn, the south spawn. So it's something that I really don't like all that much. What I do like to see, though, is that xkoushik, Koushik, I'll say Koushik. He is running all premium consumables, which I do like very much. It shows that he is a very experienced player. At least he's got enough credits in his bank account to say, I don't care about how much I spent. I just want to have the best time playing. And that's what he's gonna end up doing. This is a pretty awesome Fiji replay, but we'll just have to see how it comes. There's an emerald coming into A from on the enemy team. The Fiji has no problem taking on an emerald by itself. Same with an Omaha. Even together, they will still pose little threat to the Fiji if the Fiji player plays it right. So interestingly, Koushik, he ends up going around this big island, which I have personally never done, but I'm sure it's a great idea. You can get a nice flank off on the enemies. The only problem with it, though, is that you do have to distance yourself from the rest of your team. You're very isolated, but the rewards can be pretty huge, as we can see. Oh, well, we get a citadel. Yep, there's 3. And should be the kill shot here. Oh, not yet, but there we go. Already 8 citadels. Omaha got maybe a tad lucky with those citadels, but not a bad start to the game. Double strike, that's always a good start for me, if you ask me. So he turns out and away from the torpedoes. Most of them hit the island, so his buddy in the Molotov is going to be a-okay. So that's definitely a great start. He's already up to 9 citadels. That is awesome. Now his destroyer buddy should be able to take a point very, very easy. Something I like, nope, maybe intentional grounding. Of course, completely tactical. Just to try and get the, he might not even do it. He might just be that big of a boss. Oh, his stern does get caught up. But how do you play the Fiji? Well, the Fiji is a great cruiser. It's by far one of my best cruisers. And when I say this, please understand that, you know, my stats and many others do tell this very similar story. The Fiji, according to my statistics and a lot of other people's as well, the Fiji does have a better win rate than the Belfast. The Fiji does have a higher average damage than the Belfast. Of course, this can vary depending on what server you choose, but generally speaking, I actually do think, and I do enjoy the Fiji a lot more than the Belfast. And there's a few reasons why. It is a very, since they are actually the same ship class, the Fiji and the Belfast are, it is nice to see that they do play very similarly, though. But I don't know, there's something about this Fiji. But he is just racking up the citadels, 7 citadels, and he's not done with this guy yet. And there's finally the kill on the enemy emerald. So, again, giving broadside within 7 kilometers and then another light cruiser, you're not going to live for long. I mean, he's already up to 16 citadels, and he hasn't had to work all that hard for them. Meanwhile, he's going to have a long sail over towards Sea Point, so we'll just have to wait here. It's kind of a shorter replay, um, certainly, but it does not lack content, that is for sure. But again, going back to how to play the Fiji and some of its strengths, it does do very, very well in close range. And people say that oh well, it doesn't get radar, but it gets something better, in my opinion, which is a heal. I think the heal is more critical for your survival than anything. Now, here's why I say this. In the event that you do run out of smokes, or the time between from when you've deployed your smoke and it's faded, and then that period between when it's faded and then when it comes back up is probably about 30 or so seconds, maybe more. And this can cause a lot of problems because a lot of times the Fiji doesn't have the best range. 15.4 is certainly good, but considering it can be paired up to tier 9, 15-kilometer range is not all that good, so you do have to get a little bit closer than most would like at tier 9, especially in a very, very lately armored cruiser. So that is something that you do have to keep in mind. And with the Belfast, going up against other tier 9 battleships is quite difficult, especially when you don't have that smoke that you so desperately need. And so, yes, all battleships can one-shot you. That is always a possibility, no matter if you are in a light cruiser or a heavy cruiser. But a lot of times if you stay angled to them, they will most of the time maybe get a citadel or get a decent chunk of damage. And in the Belfast, you cannot repair that. You still have to be on the open and tanking some damage until your smoke comes up. And even then, you might not even have a smoke left if you don't run Superintendent, let's say. So you can heal all that health back if you play the Fiji. And what good does radar do in that situation? It doesn't really. But again, at the same time, the Belfast does have radar, which does allow it to spot enemy DDs. It is not the best radar in the game, 8.5 kilometers, but radar is radar. It gets the job done, and really that's all you're looking for in radar. But here, like, radar would be almost useless. There's no destroyers left, whereas a heal can still potentially be massively helpful, considering there are still 2 battleships, and there are still cruisers that have 203 guns. The Aoba could have a 203. The Miyokos, they could have 203s. I'm sure the Shores has decent penetration at decent ranges, around 8-10 kilometers. So the heal is still very much useful for him. However, the radar is not. So definitely it is. They do play a little bit differently, but that's okay. But I just do prefer the gameplay of the Fiji that much. It's very small, but I really don't think the lack of HE is a big of a problem. I think people that are making it such a big deal are actually a bit whiny when it comes to that. They rely too much on HE spam, and honestly, that's something that I don't want to see in the game. And to be honest, guys, this AP, you can pretty much shoot it almost anywhere and get decent damage. Usually, if you're aiming for the superstructure, even angled, you'll do quite significant damage to battleships. So I don't see a problem there at all. And really, anyone that thinks otherwise is we're gonna have to have a discussion with them. But he is turning in to the Miyoko. Will maybe pop smoke. He hasn't popped a smoke yet in this game, so we'll see. You do have to be running a bit slower. You have to go down to around 20 knots before you can effectively slow down in your Fiji to stay in the smoke. He pops hydros just in case it's an Aoba, excuse me. Gives him some torpedoes. Torpedo angles on the Aoba, from what I remember, aren't the best. But 19 citadels. He's already 19 citadels. And then, as you can see, the armor doesn't help him out very much. 203s do massive damage. He gets the 1 kill. Let's see if he Pops his repair. He should, and that was actually Kraken. That it's gone by so quickly that I didn't even realize that he had a Kraken on the line, but he certainly did. Wouldn't be surprised if I saw a smoke screen pop up relatively soon, and the heal kind of did save him there, but the smoke is going to help him out a lot. With these 2 full health battleships, he's definitely going to rack up a lot of damage. And so he starts going to town. You see, most of those actually hit more of the bow. What do you know? 4K salvo. That was surely another, maybe a 2K salvo. It'd be nice if someone would spot him. Looks like one of the 2 DDs are trying to do that. We will just have to wait and see. Oh, the game will end. Again, didn't realize how quickly the game ends. I told you guys it was a short replay, but it was certainly packed with a lot of action. Double strike, Kraken, 15 secondary hits, 19 citadels. That is absurd. Crazy amount of citadels. Of course, 5 kills. With only 63 shell hits, so relatively not that much damage per shell, or not many shell hits, but a lot of damage coming from those shells. So 19 citadels, that's certainly the most amount of citadels I've seen. He, of course, topped the scoreboard, as he should have, with a nice 1,752 base XP. Detailed report, you can see almost all AP damage minus the 1 torpedo, and some secondary hits as well. And then finally, credits. Okay, he is running a standard account, which is completely okay, and he still made a good amount of money for that. But that just about wraps it up. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to send in a replay, please send it to BIAworldofwarships@gmail.com. And as always, have a good one, guys.